You sometimes feel like you're trying to jump into a double dutch game, jump rope. It's like, how do I get my rhythm and get in this thing? Oftentimes people just shrink back because they're not sure where to weigh in, how to weigh in, whether they're right, whether someone else is right. But I want to put you at ease today. You need to get in. You can't just babble, of course. But let me tell you something I learned from childhood. I grew up in a common sense household where common sense would prevail, where cases, arguments, could be made on common sense, and it would carry the day. And I realized early on as a kid that was rare, that most households lived by mom and dad's rules, and by golly, common sense or not, I'm in charge and this is how it's gonna go. And I quickly realized, I'm like 4, 5, 6, realized, wow, that's just terrible. That's horrible. People don't know what they're doing. These other parents don't know what they're doing, and they're grown up. And then I realized, as I read the newspaper and listened to the radio and watched television, that people didn't know what they were saying. When it came to topics that I was familiar with, I could realize right away, even in the printed, written, published word, that people have no idea what they're talking about. Later, I realized that it was just their job to do this stuff, and they had no passion for it, and they didn't have any understanding of it. And so, it was hit and miss on the old facts and on the understanding. Then I became like a member of the media as a teenager, and I confirmed this, and it was amazing to me that these people don't know anything. And so for me, all along the way, I saw the opportunity to jump in the game and jump into the fray, because the fray itself was ignorant. The way things were going already was just so wrong-headed and in such a wrong direction that it's like, I can't mess this up. And then, as you get older and all of a sudden you see, the way the governments are run and the way the systems are run, and that these people don't know anything either. And I quickly realized, this is, late teens, early 20s, I realized deeply that people really only say things to the extent they can know someone else. It's so pathetic. And the case, you can't help but weigh in. Don't be intimidated. These people don't know anything. The people talking have no clue, is what you'll find. And so then spiritually, in my mid-20s, as I become a disciple of Jesus, I realize that's the same thing too. That's probably the worst of them, and everything there up to that point was really bad. But people speaking of religion know the least of things, but still talking. So get your act together, run a few trial balloons, converse with people with a clue. That'll be demonstrated if you have ears to hear and eyes to see and a Bible to read. And then come along and let us overcome ignorant talk together. You need it. God will not idly sit by and let you be silent and sheepish in a world crying out for wisdom. And the world needs it. So bring it together and understand that the fray as it looks and stands has no clue.